Someone had to say it.
Welcome back to the show. On today's episode, I spoke with Andrea LaRosa. You might remember her from a previous episode that we did together. She's also a matchmaker and relationship coach in the San Luis Obispo area. I first decided to read her tarot cards, which seemed to resonate with her quite a bit. But a disclaimer here, I am very new to tarot reading and only do it for fun and learning about myself as well as the people around me. I am not by any means a fortune teller or a psychic, although I do read people well and usually feel people's vibes, intentions, and character fairly quickly after meeting them. Andrea and I also talked about expectations in a relationship versus reality and some of the challenges that people create for themselves. I think most of you can and will resonate to our conversation. At least I hope you will. Enjoy and don't forget to share and subscribe. I very much appreciate it.
I wonder what would happen if you read some of those tarot cards that you have in your hand for your clients. But more interestingly, let's do one for me. Do you want to do one for me?
Gosh, can I do one for you? Okay, let me
Yeah.
shuffle. Let me shuffle. We can talk about whatever until I shuffle. I want to make sure I get it really, really good.
Because I know we talked about talking about like expectations when it comes to like dating and relationships, which gets me super fired up to begin with. And I don't want to get into it yet, but like, I'm curious how to like I should be managing my own expectations. Well, we all should when it comes to relationships, right? So maybe the tarot cards can give me some guidance on better better
well,
management.
well, let me ask you, how's your dating going? Is there particular questions that you have? Because what you do normally is when you pull cards, you're supposed to ask a particular question that is weighing on you that you want answers to. So, are there things going on in your dating life or things that are, kind of put it out there because that's
Okay.
really the point of it.
Mm.
But
Mm.
so say it to yourself.
Okay. I was like, am I saying this out loud for everybody to hear?
Well, no, I mean, you're supposed to when you get in your card spread. So I don't know if you want to tell me, but we could just kind of see what comes and if it makes sense to you, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But um okay, so I have to get well, wait, you know what? Because
How
I'm
pissed
still
off will our listeners be if they're like, wait, I want to know what the question is.
yeah, I know. Well, you might have to share.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of a novice at this. I'm still a beginner. So I'm gonna go and grab my book real quick. I should have done that. I apologize. So give me like 2 seconds, okay?
2 shakes. You got it, girl. I'll keep talking.
Okay, you keep talking, or we can just edit it out.
I've done this before where I've had on professionals who talk about like your horoscope and how it plays into dating and doing your natal chart and how that relates to dating and relationships. I don't think we've ever actually done, at least not on mine, maybe on Julia's, but I've never done like a live tarot card reading. So this
You
can be
haven't.
super cool because yeah, like we've done my chart before on a previous episode, but never tarot. So
Yeah, this is actually really. It's interesting because I've been kind of playing around with it, just I don't know, for fun,
yeah,
So I've read like my kids' charts, I've read friends' cards, not charts. Well, charts too. You can read
yeah.
charts too. And I just ran up and up the stairs on and I thought I was in good shape. Oh my god,
Oh,
I can't breathe.
well, you look like
Okay,
you're in good shape, so that's all that matters.
that's all that matters. I look like it. Yeah, that's the key word. Okay, so I'm going to, because if you were here, I'd spread them out and I'd have you, you can activate your left palm by like doing a circle like this. And then you run it over the cards as they're spread out
Uh,
on a table. Yeah, but we'll
I'm
do it in
doing it, and
person.
we are not in person for anyone who's listening to us. We are not in person right now. So
But it's supposed to like activate this chakra thing where I don't have the right
I'll
lingo.
do it anyways. And
Do
look,
it
I'll
anyway.
pretend I'm holding it
Yeah.
over. I can feel the energy
Okay.
into the tarot cards.
Okay. So
And
I'm just gonna use your
just
energy.
tell me where my dating life is heading.
All right. So let's see what I pulled. Ooh. Okay. It's nine of canes. No,
Nine of
that's not
Kings.
nine. That's four. I can't count and read.
Oh, because it's
Four.
Roman numerals. It's 4.
Well, and I should wear glasses too when I do this. Okay, so let me pull this up. I don't think I've ever had this card
The 4 of
before.
Kings. Ooh, what could this mean?
Yeah. Okay. So okay, it's gonna take a minute. We're gonna have to edit some of this because it's gonna take me a minute to find it. Age of Wands. No, this isn't the Wands. The Canes. Is it Wands? No, this is yes. Yes. Sorry. Wands. I keep calling them canes because they look like canes. You know, like a cane.
Oh, Cain. You're saying Cain. I thought you were saying Kings. I was
See,
like, the 4 of Kings.
I'm
Ooh,
really new at this.
royalty.
Okay, so
Okay.
Four of Wands.
Wands.
The meaning typically when the card is upright, which it did come up upright, means celebration, special events. If it's reversed, then it would be returning to the joy of the present. But it was upright. So okay, let me see. Page 6. All right. So, Four of Wands. Celebrate your achievements with the ones you love before pushing ahead to the next goal. Enjoyment and celebration abound in the Four of Wands card. Oh my gosh, this is so interesting. A beautiful floral canopy that resembles a traditional Jewish chuppah signifying marriage is being held up by 4 wands firmly rooted in the ground. Have you ever seen a Jewish wedding where they're standing under the chuppah? They like
Yeah.
build this little canopy, right? So the yellow background of the card indicates conscious awareness and joy as the couple celebrates their union by waving floral bouquets in the air enthusiastically. Huh, this is interesting. They have, for wonder what that means for your relationships. They have made the choice to unite in commitment to creating something stable, long lasting, and it's not a coincidence when you pick a card. Like so, even if
Right.
I know you, and the fact that I picked for you, because a lot of times, a lot of tarot readers will just pick a card for the
Mm-hmm.
client. They won't let you choose it. So I like letting people choose, but um, behind the couple stands a glorious castle with people dancing joyfully in a lush garden, celebrating their abundance and prosperity. The numerology for this card is 4, which means stability, structure, and like I said, celebration, special events. When you do general reading for this card, it indicates an organized celebration, such as a wedding, anniversary, graduation. So look to your own life and achievements. How can you celebrate your wins? The enthusiasm you have for your relationships and local community are also celebrated here. Make sure you're balancing your hard work and ongoing efforts with relaxation. Love, romance, and engagement, wedding, or honeymoon are indicated by this celebratory card. You know what? I did have this card one time. I pulled it for someone. You may find yourself in a new relationship with someone who's open to love and a deeper commitment. If you're already partner, you're considering moving in with a partner, buying a home together, or putting down roots in some way. You're enjoying the moment, finding love, and in your present situation. There's more like about career, money, personal, spiritual. Did you want to know about just the relationship part, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of the point
Yeah.
of our podcasts are to talk about relationships. I can't help but wonder. Yep, I'm sweeping my own personal one under the rug there. I can't help but wonder if you pull that card for a client, what they would assume.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And some people just don't believe in this, so they'd be like, okay, whatever.
Right.
But those that
But if they
do,
do,
that would be huge, right? It's new love. It's all going the right direction. So,
would that change the way they date?
I wonder. I mean, depends what state of their relationship they're in, right? So
Right.
I think, I mean, I'm curious about even your own now. Now, does any of it resonate? Let's just say that
It does.
it
And
does. Okay.
I believe in it sort of, like
Yeah.
partially. I do feel like there is some energetic truth behind it. I'm very cautious to not like put all of my hopes into readings. Uh because I know that it's not fortune telling. It's just understanding that's the energy around it at this current moment. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's probably fairly accurate about the energy around my current situation.
Hmm.
um
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. And I think people forget too, this is just another tool. It's supposed to just guide you, maybe not give you all the answers, but kind of make you think, right, about what
mhm,
you're doing. Is this, whatever it is you're in, the relationship, your job, whatever it is it helping you? Is it making you
right.
happy? Should you make changes? Should you stick with whatever it is that's going on? So I think people a lot of times take it very the direct meaning, very literal, and it's really just to make you think,
Mhm.
right?
That's
So
true.
there's a lot to that. I mean, listen, we can pull cards all day, and I love doing
I am
well,
going to go back and re-listen to this recording afterwards just to kind of ruminate a little bit more on it
yeah.
and see where that means our relationship might be heading. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll do a private one. We'll do a private. You know what's even better is I love doing it with both people. Like if there's a couple, and
Oh,
then you talk about it. It's the same thing with numerology. It's the same thing with astrology, right?
right.
It would be amazing to if all we did was pair people based on your astrology sign, based on your numerology, based on when you were born, the time, the day, all of that, it matters so much. I think that would be very interesting. If that is all we match people based on, that would be crazy.
That would be pretty awesome. But if you think about do you remember the matchmaking show? Oh God, what was it called? It was on Netflix. The Indian Matchmaker.
Yeah.
She does do that. She used their chart to help her guide them into relationships or at least partners that would be a good match for her. So she did kind of do that. She did use their charts along with her instincts to match
Yeah.
people, although I don't know how successful she was. I kind of stopped watching it, so I'm not really sure where it landed, but I know
Yeah.
for some of them they were really starting to see some of the blocks that they had in life, and that's why they couldn't find a relationship. So I do
Hmm.
think it's helpful. It's a good tool because it can really show you internal blocks that you have, maybe,
Right.
especially if relationships aren't going your way. Because, with our clients, they come to us. I don't know about you, but I think most of them come to me at least really frustrated,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
so over the dating scene.
Hmm. I think most people are by the time that they have come to us, and I feel like they've tried everything. And for a lot of them, I think this may be their last step.
Hmm.
Maybe not, but the ones that have come to me, I feel like those people have tried everything else, and they're frustrated with um, their own success or lack of it. And like you said, a lot of it has to do with their own internal struggles, with their own issues that they can't get past. And It's interesting because I'm writing a book about the matchmaking industry, and it's kind of like what we do and what I do and being a matchmaker. And one of the stories that I was just writing, I literally wanted to copy and paste it into an email to one of my clients. It's like every piece of advice that you have told to every single client, and the first thing, which I'm sure you do too, is be open, be open, be open. How many times a week do we say that? Be open-minded. I truly feel like people use their past to guide their future instead of being open about all possibilities, right? So for example, I have clients that even recently, as of now, that say, well, typically this is what I'm attracted to, and they list the whole criteria, right? Whether it's age, physical appearance, whatever it is. And then I always say, okay, well, this is the type of people you've dated. Yes. Okay. But you're no longer with them. Yes. So it didn't work out. Yes. Oh, no, it didn't. Like, okay. So why are you keep looking for the same thing? Right.
I do that
Clearly,
too.
right. We should try something else.
You ask
Right.
much nicer than I do, though. I always ask them, like, and how'd that work out for you? Well,
Right.
it was okay. Was it? Because you're here. So clearly it's not okay.
Right.
It didn't work for you. So are you going to keep chasing what doesn't work?
Yeah. What's the point of that? And I love, I don't necessarily love everything Dr. Phil. I don't actually like everything that Dr. Phil says, but his one line, how's that working for you? And I've
Mm-hmm.
used that for years. How is that working for you?
I do
Is
too.
is it working for you? Clearly, yes, you keep chasing the same type of people and the same criteria and the same, they have the same whatever. Uh, but they all end up in the same way, which is you're not together.
Right.
So
It's funny you mentioned being open because I'm sitting here. I have a speed dating event coming up this weekend, and I've got another one next week. And in my directions, you can't read it because it's too small, but in the directions on the scorecard itself, it actually says at the very bottom, I wrote, remember to be open to the possibilities.
yeah,
So,
it's
like,
huge.
you have to just keep telling clients over and over and over and over again, you need to be open to something that's new. Because what you've been doing doesn't work. One of my biggest pet peeves is when I have a potential client come to me who's, say, 50 years old, but only wants to date 25-year-olds. First of all, I won't take a client like that. That's not my business that I'm in. I'm in the business of finding love matches, not arm candy. But
Yep.
what's your take on that? The age gap?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if you saw me rolling my eyes when you said that, but it's just it never ending conversation. Why do you want to date someone? And
What
I'm
do they
totally
tell you?
well. So I'm gonna totally put him on blast, as the kids say. Oh, I don't know. Do kids say that anymore? I'm always behind on the lingo. I
I
said
don't know.
bye, Felicia, the other week, and my son said, "Oh, you're cringy. That's so 10 years ago." Bye, Felicia. I love that.
Well, what
Whatever.
do we use now?
Yeah, I know. He's like, you just don't say that, mom. And he knows that I'm very frustrated with him. He's 51 years old. He's gonna be 52. And he said, the women that I can typically relate to, I'm attracted to, I like dating, are younger. I said, okay, well, what are we talking about? And he's like, well, 34 to 44, 44 being the top, that's hard no for me over that. Oh, okay, so if she just turned 45 last month, you're gonna reject her? Or when she turns 45, you're gonna be like, sorry,
I'm done.
can't date you anymore, you're 45. And I'm thinking, you're 51, gonna be 52. What do you have in common with a 34-year-old? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, 35 or 36, or you're talking a decade younger and more. I just can't even understand what they would have in common. Well, women that are younger, they're more active, they take care of themselves. Like, bullshit. No, we all take
So
care
what
of
happens when
ourselves.
she's older?
Right. I
Because shit starts to sag, dude. We get lines in our face. our boobs sag, our arms start to sag, like we get gray hair. So what happens when she gets older?
Well, this is why he's single. Although he keeps saying that the last relationship didn't work out because um the, there was, she wasn't ready to commit. There was this, there was that. Well, yeah, she was 35 years old or however age she was. It's just, and he's not the only one, unfortunately, living in California,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say Midwest, in the West, on the West Coast and Southern California, any California region. This is what happens. I feel like men have become so shallow,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not wanting to date people their own age. And it's really sad because my 50 and plus year old women are struggling just to find people their own age, and they have to date much older because those are the men that want them. So I struggle with that all the time. And we can do they can do all the therapy that they want, but it's really just about, I think it's shallowness. And I think it's just the expectations of what a 45-year-old woman will look like, or 50-year-old, that we all just let ourselves go after a certain age, which is so untrue, you know?
I mean, life does get the best of us. It's funny because I was watching a film the other day and commenting on how the actress has gotten older. It was Jodie Foster,
Mm,
and how she's gotten older and she does look her age, and having the conversation and realizing that the reason why she looks her age is because she is her fucking age. She's like 62 or something like that. And she clearly has not had any work done on her face. So why is that wrong?
right.
What's so wrong with that? She is 62. And on camera, like for anyone who understands the film industry, like the camera brings out every wrinkle, crease, imperfection you could
Hmm.
potentially have on your face. And a lot of the makeup that's out there isn't necessarily conducive with aging because
Mm-mm.
it gets caught in the creases of your wrinkle. I mean, now I'm just making it sound terrible, but like,
No, but I know you mean. It makes it look worse. And if they
mhm,
didn't have the makeup, they would look younger. But to be on screen,
you have to have the
yeah,
makeup
right. Yeah,
because of the lighting issue. So, like,
yeah.
understanding that all of a sudden now this poor woman looks old, and I'm sure other people are watching her on screen going, god, she could just tighten up a little bit, she needs just a little bit of work. But we are meant to age, we are human,
Exactly.
we're
Yeah,
not meant to be young forever.
yeah.
So
And it's sad because they can't see past that. I think I don't have the same issue with women, although women have their own criteria and things that they're stuck on, obviously. But yeah, it's a shame because we are still kind of glamorized by our beauty, and then if it's below par or subpar or whatever you want to call it, then it's, oh gosh, she's let herself go. No, she just chose not to go under the knife. I mean, it's
right.
ridiculous because I have a funny story that when I went in this past summer, I think it was like July or August, with my son to an oral surgeon to get his wisdom teeth out. And he also does like mini facelifts, and he's a whole oral and facial surgeon, right? So he does less wisdom teeth, as we found out later.
Mhm.
Because my son had an issue. I should have taken him, but he was close to home, couldn't find anyone
Oh.
else, short notice anyway. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, well, now that we talked about my son, what could you do here? Like, see this, like, I'm like showing him my neck, and my son is rolling his eyes. He's like, oh my god, stop it. So before he could even answer, my son goes, just come to the gym with me. If you work out on a regular basis and you work out your whole body, your neck will get toned too. And there's specific exercise for your neck, for your chin, that will tone everything up, and you don't have to do anything. So he started showing me stuff later, which I've been trying to do. But it was funny because the look in the guy's face, the doctor, he goes, yeah, no, you need a facelift. And I went, okay, don't like sugarcoat it or anything. I'm like, I'm 47 years old. He's like, yes. And I had a 35-year-old the other day that I did a whole neck and whatever lift. I'm like, 35 years old? Like, was she really bad? Did she lose a lot of weight? No, she just didn't like, some of the skin started to 35 years old.
That's
So I'm
too
thinking,
young.
first of all, I'm never going to go to him
Right.
just for that. But I thought, wow, we are doing it younger and younger and younger. And if you look at some of the pictures from celebrities like the Kardashian girls, the Jenner girls, the younger one, what's her name? Kylie or Kaylee or what's her
I
the
have
younger
no
one.
idea.
Okay. Anyway, there was a
I
picture
know
of
who you're
them.
talking about.
You know
I
what I'm
just don't
talking,
know
the
their
youngest
names.
one. Yeah, she had a kid. No, she didn't have a kid. Her sister, whatever. There was a picture the other day that a friend of mine sent me. She goes, "Oh my God, what happened to her face?" Well, it turns out she started getting fillers at such a young age to get ahead of the problem, as they used to say. You got to start Botox younger. You got to start at 45 now, and fillers at a younger age just to get ahead of the problem so the skin doesn't sag. Well, now she has all these creases. It looks like, like cottage cheese on her face
Oh,
because filler just kind of stays there. You can't dissolve it and it just sags and it looks like craters in her face. And they have to probably go in surgically to remove it. I felt so bad for her.
not
That's
worth
what
it.
happens. No,
Not
it's
worth
just,
it at all. And you never know when it's going to be a botched job. So the whole point of this
mhm,
was
back to the
to
point.
manage the fact that it does feel like a lot of men, I hear it a lot from guys of, I am attracted to fit younger women. I want her to be active and healthy. And it's like, are you active and healthy?
Hmm, yep.
Why does she have to be active and healthy if you're not? But to be fair to men, on the flip side of it, and it's different because of being up here, up and slow, it's women up here want a rip from Yellowstone from the show. Did
I
you ever
have no
watch it?
idea. Oh, Yellowstone show. Yes, I started watching it. I lost interest. I just couldn't follow along. I mean, I love Kevin Costner, and I would do him in a heartbeat even when he's 90. But yeah, I watched like one or two episodes. Rip, which
So
one was that? That's him?
Rip, no,
No.
Rip is like the ranch manager that his daughter ends up with.
Okay, okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Yes. So that's what they want.
So they all want that because
Right.
what they're saying is they want the big, strong, masculine man. He's got to be over 6 feet tall. He's got to be well built. He's got to be very handsome and rugged, can fix shit, but then also be emotionally intelligent. I
Yeah.
cannot tell you how many women I have heard that from. I want a Rip who's emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
He's a fictional character. Let's start there. He's
Exactly.
fictional. Somebody wrote him.
Yeah. A
Somebody
woman.
thought him up and wrote him.
Right. Yeah, it goes on both sides, and I don't want anybody that listens, especially our current clients, future clients, past clients, to think that we are putting you down or we're just tearing you apart. No, we are here to show you why things are not going the way you want them to go. Why you
Yeah.
continue to date wrong people, stay single, not be in relationships that you should be in, why they don't work out. And I take it very seriously. People will say to me, clients will say to me, I know you're upset at me, but I don't know why you take it so personal. Dude, this is my business. If I can't convince you that what you're doing is wrong for you, I have failed. And I can't bring you those type of people. Sure, I'll present you to 30-year-olds, 35-year-olds, but they're going to keep saying no. Do you want to keep getting rejected instead of going on dates with the right people? It's frustrating. It's frustrating for us, and all we can do is just keep telling them the same thing. Like, do you want to date right, or do you want
Mm-hmm.
to just keep going on dates with just multitude of women, whether they're right for you or not, just to see if there's that
Yeah.
connection?
It's managing their expectations. And it's trying to get them to see, why are you dating? What is the purpose of your dating? Are you dating because you want to fall in love and get married and live happily ever after? Well, I don't know if that exists. So let's manage that expectation. But like, it's this idea that everything is supposed to be easy. It's twofold, right? I'm kind of getting tired of listening to people say like, well, I deserve what I want in a relationship.
Right.
Okay, well, what about your partner? Because when you get into this relationship that you deserve, say you get a rip, say I work my magic, I set you up with an emotionally intelligent rip, and he actually is interested in you, and you guys hit it off. Okay, so you got your perfect guy. Are you his perfect woman?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if
Exactly.
you're not, are you going to do what it takes to be her? And
It
now,
goes both ways.
right. And now, isn't this relationship all on the surface? I don't hear anything of depth happening yet. I
Yeah.
don't hear the bonding that needs to happen, the shared values, having, you know, lifestyles that match up to some degree, teaching each other things, challenging each other emotionally, intellectually. I don't hear any of that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all just physical attributes, shallow things. Yeah, it's very unfortunate, and I always wonder if it's like this all over the world, all over the country, or if it's just what we're seeing in our area, local or in California in general, which I do know just by working with other matchmakers throughout the country that people focus less on the physical and more on the depth of the character, and like you said,
Hmm.
beyond just the physical. But um I think it's very hard because there's so much out there in the media, television and films and social media about, I mean, just scrolling through Instagram is just all about how to nip and tuck this, and how to, do you want to look younger, feel younger? And I really wish people would just focus on the feel younger part, the health benefits, and just working out and exercising, and also the whole thing of these unrealistic expectations in terms of how much your partner is going to work out. I think men don't realize that it's very different for women the way they work out versus how
Hmm.
men work out. So what's appropriate for a man, might be going to the gym for 2 to 3 hours a day and doing weights and doing this and that. For women, it's very different what works in our body, right? So for me, for
Absolutely.
example, I will never go to the gym. I mean, the only time I'll go to the gym if my kids want to come and show me some things, and it's really stupid because I look like a complete idiot there. And I went. It's so stupid. My stories. I went to Planet Fitness with my youngest, and my oldest goes to some fancy schmancy
Oh,
$100 a month gym, which $100 a month, it's an outrageous amount of money, or whatever he pays. I don't know what they have there afterwards. Free massage. I don't know. But
no.
I won't step foot in that gym. I went to Planet Fitness, which I heard is not as intimidating, and it's like all
I go there. I
colorful.
love it.
Okay, so
It's
then I
very
saw.
relaxed.
Okay, so that was my kind of gym. I'm still not going to go on a regular basis, but I'll go once in a while. They had, like, there was a guy with an oxygen tank. I'm like, oh, okay, my people are here. That's cool. There was a guy in a wheelchair. Oh, okay, cool, cool. I feel comfortable now. There was the woman with a cane. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling very comfortable. It's very intimidating for certain women to go to
Hmm.
the gym. I used to hate going to the gym. I did, but I didn't like it. And especially when I was younger, I used to get hit on all the time. And I don't want to talk to you while I'm working out. So I think men need to realize just because we don't say go to the gym on our profile doesn't mean we don't work out. There's so many
Right.
other ways. Same with women and what they want in a man. He may not go on long strolls on the beach with you every night, but he may want to do other things. Maybe he'll go hiking or whatever. I'm trying to find
It's finding the
alternative.
common ground, right?
Yeah,
Right. What
Mhm.
your idea of working out isn't going to be their idea of working out, but why is it so important? Unless you're solely looking for a gym buddy, then that's different. Then you know what? You're going to have to find somebody who works out at the gym. But like for me in particular, my gym time is my time. I don't want
Mhm.
to work out with someone.
Yes, and
That
we've
is when I
talked
get to
about
put
this.
music in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get to just have me time. That is my self care time, not shared self care time. I
Mhm.
have like one or two friends that I go to the gym with because it's a good time for us to catch up. And we only kind of do like the cardio stuff next to each other when we're talking. And then we go and do our own weights thing and kind of be done. But like, I don't need my partner to do everything that I do. Like, I want him to be
Yeah.
healthy. I want him to be fit, but
Mhm.
not fit because I need him to look good, but fit because I need him to live a long life,
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
long, healthy life. That's
and
why.
and and it helps with a healthy sex life too, being in
Hmm.
shape. I mean, you don't want somebody huffing and puffing after 5 minutes of whatever it is you're doing, on top of
Pumping.
you or below you, or it's like, are you okay, are you done, should we stop? Like, nobody wants to be, you
That's not
know
fun.
and it's distracting, right? Someone's just completely out of shape
I
in the
can't
bedroom.
imagine being that out of shape that during sex you're like,
Listen, I have heard stories from clients, my past clients. I haven't had anyone recently share that much information, but yeah, I remember a woman telling me that the first time they had sex, and he seemed in shape. He said they were both in their, I want to say they were late 40s. Maybe he was in his early 50s. I can't remember now. But she said, "Oh my God, Julia, I like him, but I don't think I'm ever going to see him again." And I said, just it was bad sex, because I assumed it was just bad sex. He was selfish, whatever. She said, no, I thought he was having a heart attack after
oh
about 10
no.
minutes of us, going at it. She had to stop and ask him if he was all right. And he was like, I'm fine, keep going, don't stop. And she's like, no, 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 I'm going to stop because this is scary. And I don't want you to die or me have to call an ambulance, because you look like you're about, like he was red in the face. He couldn't catch his breath. Like, she said she was having a panic attack herself because she thought he was going to die. And he kept saying how much he works out and he goes to the gym. Well, what he was doing was a lot of weight and not enough cardio. So that's
But
not good.
he shouldn't be that out of breath.
Maybe he was really into it. I don't know. I wish I could be there to see what she was talking about. But I did urge her to give it another chance, not to give up, to have a
Yeah.
conversation, maybe change position, maybe don't make him do all the work. Maybe he was doing all the work and she was
Right?
laying
It
there.
almost sounds like that's what was happening if he's that out of breath. Like, I mean, not
Yeah,
to disclose too much about like preferences sexually, but like it should be it should be a balanced amount of effort. So
right.
one person is not doing all of the work the whole time. You kind of go back and forth a little bit and like switch it up a bit. I
Hmm.
like
I get it. I know exactly what you're saying. I think what happens is, and I remember a few years ago talking to actually a couple about this, because he was saying something like he was just so excited the first few times that he
oh
was
right.
trying to cover all the bases, so like they just kind of go all over the place, neck,
Mhm.
ear, this boob, this, that, and she was like, okay, can you just stop for a second and just focus on one area at a time for a little bit before you move on to something else. They're trying to, especially in the beginning, I think men want to impress you, they want to make you feel good, they really want to do their best, they want to try. And I think sometimes it goes overboard to where they're like,
Mhm.
a squirrel just running, or I don't know, squirrel, bunny, whatever, we can use whatever animal. So I think that was, may have been the issue there. I don't know. I wish I could be there to observe it all, because I wish I could have like a Gottman lab, the Gottman Lab
right? Yeah.
Institute. Gottman Institute, where you can just put people in a lab and watch and observe.
That would be really fun to do, especially when it comes to like sexual relations the first time a couple has sex, right?
Yeah.
Because if he is really vibing her and he is just like 100% like, I really like this person, and it is their first time, and especially if there's no alcohol involved to calm the nerves, then I find, at least in my own experience, guys get really nervous.
Mm-hmm.
They do that. They'll be all over the place, or they just want to, they just so badly want to please her that
Right.
they're actually doing the opposite because they're not focusing in on anything.
Right.
Because they're
That's
just
what I
like,
mean. They're
what do I
trying to
do? What is
cover.
she like? What is she, should I be down here? Should I be up there? Should I be back here? Like, where
That's
should I
exactly
be?
what I mean. Yeah, they're trying to cover all the bases, just so later she doesn't feel like he didn't do enough. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's one thing about pleasing somebody; it's another thing to be mindful about what you're doing. And it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to say, "How does this feel? Do you like this? Should I keep going? Should I stop?" Obviously not too many questions, because that's not
It's a
fun too. But
Q&A.
yeah, but once in a while to kind of check
Mm-hmm.
in, so to speak, and just say, how does this feel? And, from a woman's perspective, you should guide them too. And it's okay
Right.
to give feedback and not just sit there and wonder, what the hell is he doing? Say it.
Right.
I
And
like this, but
don't
yeah.
let him assume based on what your body's doing or whatever moaning you might be doing, because he might not be able to read that.
Mm-hmm.
It might be going over his head. He might be like, oh my God, she's moving a lot. Maybe she doesn't like this, but really she's moving a lot because she does like it. So like, yes, confirmation is good. I would like a guy to ask every so often, like, do you like that? How is, you know what I mean? Like, not a lot, but
Right.
every so often. But I'm also really good at telling a guy, like, right there, don't move. Like,
Yeah.
you got it. Like,
Yes. Don't do this. Do this. Stop.
right.
Go. Yeah. And I think a lot of people feel awkward about doing that, especially the first time or the first couple times. But how is anyone going to learn what you like?
Right. And we
Right.
can't be so sensitive. So I think there's two sides to that, though. We shouldn't be so sensitive that when someone gives us direction to do something different sexually, to take it to like, oh my God, I'm terrible at this. It's not the end of the world. They're just telling you to do something different. But also to be mindful of how you say to do something different, to not tell a guy, for example, if a guy's going down on you and you're like, oh my God, you're terrible at that. Okay, that's just mean. You don't need to say that. You could just give pointers of, I really like when you do this, this, and this. But when you do this, this, and this, not so much.
Right.
Right?
Right. Or,
There's ways to talk about it instead of being
yeah.
an asshole about it.
Yeah. And there's so much about, like you said, reading your body language, your physical body language, but also the moaning, the verbal, and you can't be afraid to speak up. Like you said, it's never going to get better. I mean, how many clients, and I'm sure you have too, female clients that have told me over the years how long they stayed in a relationship where they were absolutely miserable with their sex life, or any kind of intimacy. They never said anything. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't communicate. They just let it happen. And why? Looking back at it, I always ask them, well, was it worth it for you to just stay and deal with it? And they would say, no, I wish I said something, and now I am. But, you
Right.
know, it depends on the person. But I think when it comes to something so personal, you have to think about your happiness. This is so important.
And I think sometimes your experiences, if you don't know what you're missing out on. So if you've only been with a handful of people sexually, and it's been very, for a lack of a better term, vanilla the whole
Mhm.
time, you don't necessarily know that you're missing out on something that's better because you don't have that experience. You only can miss what you've experienced.
Right.
And so it's interesting because I had actually a client years ago come to me and say, like, I don't like when women go down on me. I don't need that. And I was like, well, that's got to be the first.
Yeah.
Like,
But
what?
something happened. Something must have happened, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And so I sent him to therapy because I felt like there's some trauma around that you need to go for. And he did. He went to therapy, worked it out. I don't know what it was, but like it could be very serious trauma or it could have just been a really bad experience and he didn't enjoy it. So he just
Mhm.
assumes now that all experiences are going to be like that, which isn't true.
Right.
I'm really hoping that guy actually finally got really good head and now goes, oh, okay, I do like this.
I I really hope so too, because and you know what? I have no filter. I would totally ask him. I would be so in that whole business. Like, tell me what happened. I want to know. Let's dissect it. Let's talk about it. Because it's really sad to go through your whole life and not experience certain things like that. So, and
Yeah.
the same for women. There's some women that just will never, they don't like when a man goes down on them, or
Hmm.
anyone. They just
I've
don't
heard
like
quite a
oral.
few women say that.
Or it's the only way they can orgasm is
Yeah.
through oral. So, and it's really important to know that, because I think a lot of men, well, I shouldn't say that. I know nowadays people are talking more about it, but as people raise kids, not a lot of parents talk about these things, especially with boys. I probably talk too much to my boys about it. It's like, yes, I know, mom, she comes first. Yes, to please her first. I know, not to be selfish. I got it. Yes, you already sent me condoms. Enough. But I do wish that a lot of parents did that, especially
Yeah.
of parents of boys, you know?
Yeah, especially pleasuring her and understanding that for one, every woman is different. Every woman likes something different. And her quote unquote G spot is not always where you think it is, buddy. It's not like it's just permanently planted in the same place on every single woman. We get pleasure from different acts, and it's not just the G spot. It's
Right.
what you're doing, what you're saying, what your touch is like to us. Not a sexual touch necessarily, but like
Mhm.
think about when you're dating someone and they hold your hand. Some people are like, yeah, that's okay, but it doesn't do anything to me. And for other people, they're like, oh, I feel connected to that person when they hold my hand. So, like, you have to be mindful of what turns someone on. Some people like talking, some people like dirty talk, some people like kinky shit where they get tied up or whatever. Like, you have to understand that it's not just about hitting a particular point on the
Right.
body. It's not a button. You can't just push it and be like, oh, there we go. And being mindful that if that's the way you're thinking, pushing that button only once doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
We
I
can
got it.
we can do this round and round and round. Some women can do this like 4 or 5 times. So like,
Exactly. Well, it's so funny because people don't realize just how mental it is for women. You
mhm,
saying the right word can put us right over the edge and get
yeah.
us there. Saying certain things, it's not, like you said, it's not always physical. I remember when I did a comedy uh group class, whatever it was. I can't remember exactly what it was, with a bunch of people, and I was probably the oldest one. There was a bunch of 20s and 30s, few years ago. And the guy, we would get up and run our material by people, right? So everyone would stand up and talk about whatever they wrote down, get feedback. And this one guy who just got married, he was probably in his mid to late 20s, and he was talking about exactly that. He said, one day I could be down there doing ABC, EF to whatever, beep, beep, boop, 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 7, 5, like in the Friends episode where she's like,
Right.
7, 5, 2, 2, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 5, 5, and he's like, oh, yes, I got it. She loved it. It was amazing. The next day I do exact same combination, 4, 5, 2, 3, nothing, nothing.
Exactly.
Right? It's like a whole, he's like, it was funny, but it was so true. Like, it's a whole different ball game, so to speak, there down there, and
Because our mood shifts.
yeah.
As soon as our mood changes, it's you got to do something different. It's not the same experience.
Right. Different areas, different everything. Yeah. And you can't be lazy in bed either. So that's That's a
Yeah.
huge thing. So anyway, people just need to communicate. So let's
And manage their expectations.
yes, manage those
As soon
expectations.
as you can manage your expectations and really understand that you're open to new experience, right? You're open to the possibility of this relationship, sexually, intimately, because they're different. Just be open. I mean, that's all I'm going to leave my listeners with. What are you going to leave yours with?
Yeah, I don't see anything more important than being open minded and going beyond your little box of criteria. And, we're just remembering that we're not magicians. We're not just going to pull this pretty little rabbit out of a hat. We're going to bring you real people. So
Right. That's a
it's
good point.
reality, you have to be real. So I think we've covered, wow, a lot of topics
We
today.
did. Oh my God, that was so fun.
One thing to another. Yeah.
I love it. I can't wait for us to record again together.
Let's do it. This was fun.
Cool.